Good afternoon, Boulder Rotary. Bill Anderson, will you please lead us in the pledge and the four-way test?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Welcome to Boulder Rotary, the best place to be on a Friday afternoon, whether you're here in the room with us or on Zoom. We have about 20 people joining us online today, so welcome to them. And also, just a quick note, I hope everyone is enjoying Palindrome Week. In case you didn't know, this is Palindrome Week, where all the days match up, 2, 20, it's all, the same all week. So I've enjoyed it, my son has enjoyed it, so I hope you have as well. Danny Lindahl, could you please introduce the guests here in the room today?
Hello everybody, welcome to Boulder Rotary on Friday. Do we have any guests today? Do we have any guests today? Well, my job is easy, but here's Vanessa.
Why don't you do the Zoom people? We've got some.
I can't read without my glasses.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. So I think today we have, we'd like to welcome all our guests on Zoom, and I think our guest today on Zoom is Dominica, if you'd like to say hi.
Hello and good afternoon to you all. I'm past President Dominica of the Rotary Club of Montego Bay, and once again, it's lovely to join you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, and welcome again, everybody on Zoom. I hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you, and nice to see you, Dominica. It's been a tough week for Boulder Rotary. I know I mentioned it last week, but Diana Sherry did pass away, and I'd like to have Marty Evans come up and talk about her just for a few minutes. She was a very inspirational figure in the club. And while Marty's coming up, I also want to mention that Jared Reese's grandfather passed away, so please keep him in mind. He's away in New Jersey right now with his family, so please keep him in mind.
Those of you that knew Diana would know that she was never shy about her opinions. So one of our last conversations, she said, well, I want to set the record straight on a couple of things. I said, okay, fine. She said, when I was first diagnosed with this cancer, I was going to give myself a party. But then I thought it was going to freak everybody out. That was her word. So I didn't. So over time with the Caring Bridge, we kind of started saying, let's have a party. Well, she did decide to have one for herself. And it was one on that blustery December 15 where a lot of people blew into her party. The other thing, so she wanted to be sure that we understood how that came about. Then she said, as kind of her parting, what would you say, salvo, she had a bucket list. And so the bucket list looks something like this. You'll find it in the rib. And, sorry, it has my little notes on the side. She had 21 items. And what she's basically saying is, some of these things that I have done and wish I could do them again. Some are activities that I never got to do. And she's hoping that some of us would do one or more of them in her honor. So out of curiosity, I thought, well, out of these 21, where are they? What do they fall? They fell into categories such as 9 of them pertain to people, 6 of them pertain to places, and 6, you could say, were things. So I would urge you, if you haven't already, take a look at this week's rib, and there's the listing. It will give you a link to connect onto it. One of the last things she also said related to her bucket list, she said, there one about light. And so what she says here is take time to notice the light outside, how it changes throughout the day, how it modifies the look of trees, grass, sky, clouds, and mountains, and how those differences make you feel. For her, that comment about light, because she could no longer see it, And I said, well, maybe it's the feeling of the warmth of the sun. Regardless how it is, she's left her light with us. So take a look at that list and see what you might be able to do in her honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. I was watching TV the other day, and I thought of Diana because there was an Expedia, I think it was, commercial that came on, and as it related to the bucket list. The basic tagline of the commercial was, when you reach the end of your life, are you going to regret the things that you didn't buy or the places that you didn't go? And to me, that really kind of rung a bell, and it made me think of her. Announcements. So, as you know, the county of Boulder County has changed its masking policy. The JCC has as well. Many of us are wearing masks here today. We've kind of continued the policy that we've had over the last several months. The board of directors will be meeting on that on Monday, so we'll have an update for you on what that's going to look like moving forward. There have also been some developments on the Pillar project. There are several awareness events that are coming up on the horizon, and you can ask Bill Meyer for details on those. If you're looking for more information, more immediate information, tonight on 9 News, there will be a piece on the pillars during the 6 p.m. segment. AV help is needed for the district. The President-elect Training Seminar PETS will be from March 3rd to the 6th at the Westin in Westminster, and the district is looking for people to help move equipment from the Centennial Storage Unit to the Conference Center, as well as helping to lay cables, setting up UV equipment, anything like that involving the PETS and the UV. Ask Vanessa or me if you have any questions about that or if you want to get plugged in. See how I did that? Destination Imagination is still looking for judges. I spoke with Dr. Bob earlier in the week. They are looking for judges for the science and instant challenge competitions. So please contact Dr. Bob Murphy for that. Next up, I'd like to have Bill Meyer come up and talk a little bit about the conflict in the Ukraine and some experiences he's had. As we were reading the 4-way test today, it really rang true and made me think about what's happening in the Ukraine. So, Bill.
I asked Chad just for a couple minutes to talk about that situation. For those of you that have been in the club for a few years, you may remember that about 4 years ago, the last time I was in Ukraine, I visited a couple of Rotary clubs. One was in Lviv and one was in Truskevets, which is not too far from Lviv. And while I was there, and I hope we can get the photo up, I had a wonderful luncheon with the Rotary Club in Truskevets. Rotary exists in Ukraine. There, at least when I was there were well over a dozen clubs. They had a district governors, the whole structure. Russia does not allow Rotary into Russia, but Ukraine, Rotary was flourishing. The poignant or sad or frustrating part of this is, other than myself and the guy on the left who's another Rotarian, he was then in the Peace Corps, he's from Colorado. Other than that, every one of the males in those photos, in that photo, has been called up to fight. Even the boys, who will now be 4 years older. So it does hit home. It hits home to all of us. And what's so frustrating, and I imagine there are others in this room that have had similar experiences to mine, is we've met a lot of Russians who we've known and liked and drank with and told stories with. And yet, for some reason, the leadership wants to make them fight. So in any event, I just wanted to remind people that we have a connection, and hopefully things will get resolved in a way that at least minimizes a loss of life. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, Bill. You said a couple of things that really struck home to me. I have a friend who's Russian, a pretty good friend of mine, and over the last several days, I've tried to put myself in his position. What is he thinking, and what are people thinking of him? So I think it's important to be mindful of everybody involved in this conflict. It obviously, as Bill pointed out, it's a complicated situation, but it's important to keep everyone in mind. The raffle. Actually, Bill, why don't you come up here and we'll do the raffle. The winning ticket is 725162. Yes. I have successfully jinxed him for, I think, going on 2 or 3 months now. No, but you can still come up though. Let's do the blue badge transition here. My goal for the end of the year is to keep Bill Anderson from winning the raffle. Oh. That's the important part, right? 725162. There you go. Thank you, Daryl.
Do you want to go next? All right. Can we pull up the picture of Dr. Richie Forte, who I believe is online today? Dr. Richie Forte is officially transitioning from Red Badge to Blue Badge member of Boulder Rotary Club today. He joined last July and was sponsored by Gary Kahn and Charlotte Rome. Richie grew up on Long Island and reports that he has always been a healthy person. He got into sports early and decided soccer was the sport for him. In being a competitive athlete, he quickly learned the importance of maintenance and preventative care to allow himself to be on the field and available 100% of the time. Richie played competitive soccer all through school and into college. In college, he realized his calling to become a chiropractor, so he enrolled in Life University in Marietta, Georgia, to obtain his doctorate in chiropractic. Dr. Richie was a Rotarian of the Willow Grove Club in Pennsylvania 2018 to 2020 and has demonstrated his service and dedication to our local community through his volunteer work with Sister Carmen, as well as becoming an honorary member of the Kiwanis. Over the years, he has found many new things to enjoy, such as being outdoors, going on hikes, and having barbecues, adventuring through Colorado, and engaging in quality time and meaningful conversations with friends and loved ones. Richie opened Summit Family Chiropractic in Louisville in November of 2020 with the help of his then fiance and now new wife. Congratulations, Richie. And they did that with the help of their 2 border collies, Pip and Lola, as well. Doctors Richie and Molly have been working very hard to create a place of healing and hope within the Boulder County community for each member of the family, even your pets. We are so happy to welcome Dr. Richie Forte as our newest Blue Badge member. And his badge is here and waiting when you come, Richie. So, thank you.
Okay, everybody, on your table is this form, and it's the Service Above Self Award. You can also find a link to this in the rib. So we need your help, because I know that as Rotarians, we love supporting and hearing about people doing good work, and that is what we're all about. And we have, an award ceremony for us at the end of the year so we can talk about what we did, but we wanted to hear about what the community's doing. And so we want to celebrate 5 really special people, and I know that all of you know people in the community who are doing amazing work. and we need to hear about them. And so if you have a friend or acquaintance or someone that you know who you think, wow, that's an amazing person, and they have made a big difference in Boulder County in the last 2 years, we want to know about them. So please take this form home with you. You can email me. I'll send you a form if you like. You can go to the RIB and you will find the link there, and you can send that RIB directly to another person if you are thinking, well, that person should fill out this form instead of me. But we are going to celebrate 5 people, and one of them will be awarded $1,000 towards the charity of their choice, and each one of them will have a small amount of money awarded towards the charity of their choice. And we also want to celebrate a student. So if you know a young person out there who's doing amazing work, we need to know about them too. So we have a short amount of time left in the nominating period time. So if you could do that this week, that would be amazing. So if you have a friend or what have you, please do that. And thanks for your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davidson, for your incredible insights. Fred, can we roll the videotape, please?
The next Red Badge meeting is this Thursday, March 3rd at 7:15 via Zoom. The link is in the RIB, so go ahead and look for that. This is the meeting and the gathering where new members and existing members can learn all about the club. I have no idea what the topic is going to be on this Thursday. They didn't give me that. However, I'm sure it's going to be great. Some topics are international service, what the club is doing, kind of the operations of the club. You will leave smarter than what you showed up. Even if you've been in the club for many years, this is something not to miss. The link is in the RIB. If you have any questions, well, look at the RIB.
Don't miss District 5450's 14th Annual State of the State Luncheon, put on by the Rotary Club of Denver Southeast, Rotary District 5450, and Rotarians for Mental Health. This year's keynote speaker is Missy Franklin. You may know her as Colorado's own 5-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer. She's going to talk about her journey to get to the Olympics, as well as her mental health journey. There will be a symposium in the morning, then the lunch from 12 to 1:30. You can find details in this week's RIB.
Would you like to spotlight all the good work that's being done here at the Boulder Rotary Club? Well, now's your chance. The awards committee is meeting next Friday, March 4th at 10:30 a.m. at the JCC and also online via Zoom. The chair is Bill Anderson. His information is on the screen. This is the committee which works to highlight us with the district and with Rotary International so we can inspire others. Next Friday, March 4th, 10:30 a.m. I know that you're all coming to the May 6th, 2022 Service Above Self Boulder Rotary Award Dinner. It is going to be a great time. Now, what we need, though, is nominations for non-Rotarians who are doing extraordinary volunteer work in Boulder County. Link and the details are in the RIB. We're going to have one winner, 3 runners-up, and 1 student winner. Boulder Rotary is starting a tradition of reaching out to Boulder community and celebrating those remarkable people who are not yet Rotarians doing work that exemplifies the Rotary motto of service above self. This year, our focus is on volunteer excellence. On May 6th, we'll have a great time celebrating the wonderful and extraordinary individuals. We'll introduce Boulder Rotary Club to friends and family and fund the good works of Boulder Rotary Club for the coming year. More details in our newsletter, The Rib, or contact Sally Brown or Kitty DeKeefer. This week with Rotarian on the Street, I'm here with member Jeannie Shoshland. So, Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I would say yes.
Why? Why do you think it's a sandwich?
Well, because you put the dog in the bread and then that makes it a sandwich.
Okay, you heard it right here. A hot dog is a sandwich.
I am so excited about next week's program. We are all going to get a chance to put our fan hats on for two of Boulder's certifiable celebrities and hometown heroes, Nick and Helen Forster, the founders of E-Town. E-Town just passed its 30th birthday, and during that entire time, E-Town has produced musical, social, and environmental programming to uplift and inspire listeners around the world. They are on more than 300 radio stations now. Shows are recorded live here in Boulder in a solar-powered theater downtown. Maybe Nick will talk about hitchhiking to Colorado from New York at age 17. And maybe Helen will talk about the early days of the Telluride Bluegrass Festival. Don't miss this amazing program. Bring a guest if you'd like. It's going to be a great time at the JCC.
Thanks so much. Stay in touch. We'll see you soon.
You know what? I think everyone's going to have a great weekend.
Nancy Chin Wagner, live from Las Vegas from the web. Are you there?
Welcome. It's good to be back. And I am here with my membership moment with our one and only George Ray Russell. Here he is in his white cowboy hat. Are we all ready? Here we go. He's been a member since January 3rd, 1978. He's a Rotarian for 44 years. His sponsor is Ray Potter. George Ray Russell's story of his life on the trails he traveled, the choices he made in his journey, would have been a lot easier, he said, if he had been given a script. George was born and raised in Texas, educated at the University of Texas for his BS in pharmacy and the University of Texas Medical Branch for his MD. And after finishing his straight medicine internship at DC General Hospital, Georgetown, and his residency in dermatology at UTMB, he was offered a 2-year stint by his Uncle Sam at Fort Carson, Colorado, where he was chief of dermatology. Getting out of the Army, he signed on as a wilderness trail ride doctor with the American Forestry Association. George and his wife spent several months in the Teton and Yellowstone wilderness. Finally, he decided he needed to start a practice, and he went to Boulder in 1973. He was still having a great time practicing dermatology 2.5 days a week before COVID hit, and then he retired in 2020. George does other things, as we know. He won the Boulder Comedy Pageant in 1991 and was crowned the King of Comedy. And for 5 years in 91, he went on a medical mission in Albania and the first and only American dermatologist to ever visit that country and the only one who has performed cowboy poetry in a nightclub there. So you might say George is an international performer. Of course, he would never say anything that was too outrageous. He received his Pacesetter Award in Medicine and Science from Boulder County in 2000, a humanitarian award from Boulder Rotary in 2002. He was also named the Poet Laureate of Sherman, Texas, which is his hometown, in 2010. When he told his daughter the humanitarian award was equivalent to the Nobel Prize for Boulder, since Nobel Prize in Chemistry winner Tom Chech had won it several years before him. His daughters were not impressed. George started performing some of his country poetry several years ago and has performed at a comedy club in Texas and many poetry gatherings in Wyoming, South Dakota, Colorado. In 2013, he was also invited to a Texas cowboy poetry gathering in Alpine, Texas. He also performed at the Chautauqua Auditorium with the Jubilate Sacred Singers and several other poetry gatherings, most recently returned from Monday from Texas. George has two daughters, Chelsea and Lindsay Rose. Chelsea graduated from MIT. Lindsay Rose graduated from Georgetown University. Chelsea has two children, Charlie Russell, who is 11, taking guitar lessons, and Rose Russell, 9, who is taking violin lessons. And Lindsay is an author, and she graduated from the University of Washington and now is an assistant professor at the University of Illinois. They are the light of his life. So life is good for George. He continues his poetry writing and going to competitions, as we know, as long as he's having fun, in good health, and he can still see. So far, so good. Thank you, George. You ready for my question 1?
I am.
Can you tell us what got you into poetry?
Well, my father used to recite poetry to my brothers and I and sister, and he was poems that he had known as a child, and they were very funny, and we would roll around on the floor laughing at them. So I was naturally drawn to poetry.
Wonderful. Number 2, what do you like most about Boulder Rotary?
The members of the club. When I first came to Boulder, I came from Homer P. Rainey was a member of the club. As a child, I lived on Rainey Street, and I heard the name Homer P. Rainey. We named our cats and dogs Homer P. Rainey. And when I got here, I'd never met him before, and he was the president of the University of Texas, but I didn't know that as a child. We had a brigadier general in the Air Force here whose service number was 12. We had Paul Friggins, who was part of the Reader's Digest. We've had a lot of members in this club that are fantastic. You are what makes this club. And that's why I want you to sit at the birthday table so that you will be recognized. We have, we've had a lot of members of our club that are fantastic people, and that's what makes this club important.
And George, my last question for you quickly so we can get to your birthday table is, can you honor us reading a poem you wrote for Boulder Rotary?
Well, I have lots of poems, but I thought I would recite one that I wrote when I was 7 years old. And it goes like this. I'm a pesky platypus with a bill just like a duck. I never have to take a bath, which I think is good luck. I live on the land and water, and I really have a ball. And when I stand on my hind feet, I'm 16 inches tall.
Thank you very much, George, for being our membership
I know that
today.
was an assignment in second grade.
Thank you, George. Back to you, Chad.
Speaking of birthdays, do we have any birthdays?
Yes, we do. Scott Nelson, who's on Zoom. Scott, can you unmute yourself and appear on the screen for us? Oh, well, anyway, he was going to do, he gave some money to our club, so thank you, Scott.
Well, happy birthday, Scott. Rolling the credits on today, thank you, past president greeter Sally Brown. Thanks to Jean and Jancy for desk and registration. Thanks to Susan for promoting the raffle. And thanks to Fred, Lynn, Vanessa, and Cassidy for meeting management. Meeting adjourned.